I was already broke by then. यार जो दोस्त कलकत्ते में बने थे कहीं नहीं. I looked at him and I said, "কি করবো? আমার প্যার হয়ে গেছে."
Welcome back to another episode of Host Diaries, where we journey through the stories, the soul, and the spirit of India's most unique stays. Today, we're stepping into the echoes of Bengal's regal past, into a world where chandeliers still whisper secrets, courtyards carry the scent of heritage, and the walls have seen centuries unfold. Just 90 minutes from the chaos of Kolkata lies Rajbari Bawali, a 300-year-old palace turned boutique heritage stay that was once the heart of a powerful zamindari estate. From housing royalty to hosting travelers, from near ruin to a restored glory, this isn't just a stay, it's a resurrection. And today, we are joined by the visionary behind the revival, Mr. Ajay Rawla. Someone who saw the beauty where others saw decay and gave Bengal back a piece of its forgotten grandeur. We're about to explore the restoration story, the rituals, the rooms, the relationships, and everything that makes Rajbari more than just a hotel, but a feeling. So pour yourself some chai, sit back, and let's dive into the story of passion, heritage, and hosting like no other. Welcome to the show, Mr. Rawla. Thank you so much, Mr. Rawla, for being on our show. It's an honor to have you. Let's begin by starting a little bit about the history of Rajbari Bawali. What I'm told is the house was in a absolutely dilapidated state. And how is it that this house came to you? What is it that appealed to you? If you could delve into a little bit of the history and the story behind what makes this house meaningful, that would be lovely.
You know, I think some of the most amazing things that happen to us in life happen by chance. And providence is something that only God can put in your way, right? I was looking for land to set up a factory. I was told that the 300-year-old temples that were here were the temples that inspired the Dakhineshwar temples, because the Mandal family had a relationship with Rani Rashmani. And when she saw the beautiful small temples that we had here, she actually had the vision to take that to the river and make Dakhineshwar.
Wow.
And so I came across to see that, and then I saw the house, which itself was very unassuming, if I may. It's that story of never judging a book by its cover. So fortunately, I walked in to see the place and I was gobsmacked. It was beautiful. It had banyan trees coming out of everywhere. It was the 23rd of January, I remember so clearly. It was a holiday in I think it was in 2008 that I came the first time. And this beautiful Rajbari was just going to crumble. And the thought that kept on going through my head was that, oh my God, how can I stop it from crumbling? I was worrying about it so hard for 3 nights. Actually, on the 26th of the January, which was a holiday again, I got up and I picked up my kids 6 in the morning, and they were saying, "Dad, what's going on?" At 6 in the morning. And I said, "You've got to come and see the most beautiful home, house, palace in the world," because that's how it was calling out to me. So we drove in here at 6 in the morning, and Arun Babu, who was the owner there, I actually walked in at 6:30 or 6:45 into the house, and he was standing outside, and he looked at me and he says to me in Bengali, he says, "Apni abhar esechen?" And I said, I looked at him and I said, "Ki korbo? Amar pyar hoye geche." Prem hoye geche. So I kept on coming back for the place, and we forged a friendship. And so that's how I first found the place.
Tell me a little bit about the family, the Mondal family, and if you have any idea how they built this or what their meaning is.
My knowledge of the Mandals, as I know, was zamindars. They were amazingly large zamindaris. They had trading that they did with the East India Company. They had trading with the Chinese when they came in, because if you know that Achipur is close by, and the first Chinese came in here. So I would say zamindaris, tradesmen, not tradesmen, but businessmen, and with amazing connections with other Bengali zamindaris, including Rani Rashmani. So yes, that's what I think.
So you got the property from, how did it come to you? It came to you from them, or how is it transferred down?
So it was quite a Herculean task actually to find all the owners. I think we had to buy from almost 20 or 22 three
Oh,
people,
really?
and there was a lot of a deficit of trust between them. So getting 22 or 23 people on the same table wasn't possible. So I bought it over a period of 2 years, if you please.
Really?
Yeah,
So you didn't even know during that 2 years if all of it is going to come to you.
I did not.
You were just buying pieces
But
of it.
what I did know was that once I bought the first piece, the most important thing in my heart was to protect the place, that it shouldn't fall down. Because I knew that if another couple of monsoons hit it, everything would have gone down. If I look back at it and I think of what drove me, I'm a third generation Punjabi in Calcutta, okay? And there's a very beautiful affinity between Bengalis and Punjabis. What is it, a post-partition warmth? Because they both saw partition, the worst part of partition, or is it because they're both very emotional and the outbursts are from and the poetry is from here? But there's a lot of beauty between those relationships, and I am what I call a Bongjabi. And I couldn't, when my friends, my Bengali friends or people that I met, they always ask me, "Ki, where is your place in Punjab?" And I always answer, and I think I even say now, my place in life is Calcutta, is Bengal. So I am going to have a home which I can turn around tomorrow and say ki ota amar desher badi. So I actually bought the place to make it my desher badi. And then I realized, as we got along, I realized that I'll never be able to look after it unless I do something commercially. So it transition from Amar Desher Bari to the Rajbari Bawali as a heritage hotel that has opened its doors was a very tough uh, transition for me, because I always kept on thinking of it as my home, and I still do. But I had to now, and I'm glad that I did, because we're able to do the right thing by the place. But that's what it is.
So Rajbari over the few years has beautifully expanded. It used to be, I think, just one or two bungalows, and now we've gone into so many variety of rooms and all its structures. So I also definitely do believe that you have done justice. It's also an iconic property in the city that most families of Calcutta have heard about or know about and have visited as well. So moving now into a little bit about the property as it's today and not about its history. Um, Tell me a little bit more about how does this property make a guest experience feel very curated? Are there any rituals or any corners that are sort of taken care of, or are there any morning or evening activities that happen in Rajbari that makes the experience for a guest feel more than just any ordinary hotel?
So I think the most important thing that we do is, and I'm not just saying it, I mean it. I think we treat anybody who's visiting us, any of our guests are coming in, we're always thinking of them as a friend that we are fond of, or a relative that we are very fond of. And you see, when my ethos here was to hire locally. So you must remember that when I started this 10 or 12 years ago, it was it it was a task to get our team to grow up into the role of being hosts. So the best thought that we could put with our team was that just think that তোমার বন্ধু ফিরে আসছে বা তোমার মাসিমা ফিরছে. Because I've got a young team, right? So I think in answer to your question, the first difference that we do make is we make you feel at home. And we don't just say it, we make you feel at home. There will be rituals that are there when you come in. There will be a conch shelling, conch being blown, but that everybody does that. It's a great Indian way. We herald our arrivals and we also herald our departures. It's what you do in between that makes you different.
Yeah. You keep the Bengali culture alive very, very distinctly. I've been here myself several times. Can you speak a little bit about the evening show and performances that happen over here for all the guests?
We start our evening with the Sandhya Aarti, which is a beautiful thing. And if you haven't ever seen it, please do stay back and enjoy it. And what we decided to do was we decided to do a Sandhya Aarti around a Tulsi March because truly nature. And we have a priest who's from the village, and so he chants and shares good vibrations for all of us. And from that we switch to we have a fabulous stage. The Rajbari courtyard is outstanding. So we have a beautiful, not too long, 10, 15, 18 minutes of classical dance, because that's what people like, to not overexposed on something like that. So it's gorgeous, it comes beautifully. And this is Bengal, you have the most beautiful musicians. They're so versatile, so we have to have live music after that. It's beautiful. And then before we do that, we also like just as you're asking, a lot of people ask us the story about the Rajbari and how it was restored. So we run a little a clip on the restoration story, and which I've got to say to you that my journey for restoration was almost eight and a half years.
That long?
It was 8.5 years, and I can tell you that it was financially. It was very tough for me because I kind of put every penny that I had into it, but soulfully fulfilling like you can't even imagine. There were some amazing people who gave me the right advice. Okay, and amongst them, for instance, Mr. G.M. Kapoor of Intac, so forthcoming with ideas, thoughts. I was very keen that we should do all our restoration with the limestone churki. What we do, everything we do it correctly. He shared as much information as he could. We had Ratish Nanda, who's with the Aga Khan Foundation, who's a friend, and he said when I reached out to him, I said I want to talk to someone who can show me the way. And he said, you know what? You're in Bengal. It's an amazing, amazing, amazing community of craftsmen that are there. He said, go to Murshidabad, find the masons from there, send them to me, and I will train them. So they were so good to us. We sent 10 or 12 or 15 masons, and they taught them. And we brought them back here. And I told him, I said, 15 masons. He said, you know what? 3 or 4 will run away. But you'll have retention of at least 10 or 2. And we did. Some of those people are still working with us. So, yeah, that was what it was. So, coming back to what you were saying.
So, yeah, you answered my question quite well. So, in the restoration process, how do you decide which parts of the hotel you want to keep as heritage and what parts you want to modernize?
It's easy. You should have fantastic plumbing, best electricals, sort that out. Anything else that you want to mess with, don't mess with it. If you fall in love with something the way it is, you don't have to keep on trying to improve it. When I fell in love with the Rajbari Bawali, I fell in love with Bawali because it was in that moment of time which is outstanding. I didn't want to get gallons of paint. I didn't want to paint it up, bright it up, give it lipstick, rouge, make it look nice. If I did that, the inherent romance of the place, and I'll tell you something, you'll meet many heritage hoteliers, and there will be one thread through amongst all of us, and that's our passion. Our taste is going to be different, our presentation is going to be different, but that thread is passion.
Very well said. So it took you 8 years to make this dream become a reality. Did you ever consider giving up? Was it a challenge?
Plenty of, very often times, and I must tell you a story. Ratish Nanda called me up and he said that his guru from MIT, who was the head of MIT's archaeological and restoration department, was going to be in Calcutta. So I'm talking about 2000, maybe 11. It was a very wet day. Rain coming down like you can't imagine. And I was looking forward to meeting Ratish, who had already been so kind to me. I was looking forward to meet his guru, who turns out to be from Calcutta and is from Walid Shah's family. And he sat down with me and he brought some biryani. I was expecting a white guy who would come and talk to me about stuff. And we sat down and we had some biryani, and there was water falling from the roof because I was still trying to figure my way. We were talking about things, and just as you and I are, and he said, I want to tell you something. He says there are going to be many times on this journey when you'll want to give up. And he says, I want you to remember that when you think you want to leave and you're ready to give up this, remember that I am telling you that I would leave my job to do what you're doing.
Wild.
So it was that inspiration, and I tell you, I've had a great time setting it up. The problem was not. I mean, just talking about it, when you embark on a restoration job, if your heroes are Indiana Jones, then it's good fun. It's not a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what.
What kind of people are drawn to such a property? Like, I've always believed that you have the very evolved traveler, you have a new age traveler, a traveler who cares for a lot of luxuries, a traveler who cares for a lot of experiences, even though maybe the linen on the bed is not of the best quality. So, if you had to describe your ideal guest's persona, what do you think that person would be?
One thing that I've noticed that they all like is they love heritage. So that is something that calls out to them. They all like heritage. They like history, if I may, and of course they want to be well looked after. They want all the mod cons. They want everything to be, and I think they love the fact that there's so much greenery in Bengal. And honestly, we were the first kind of restoration in Bengal, and I'm happy to see that others are following, and it's a great thing that it's happening in Bengal because I studied I studied in Ajmer at Mayo, and a lot of my friends had uh, converted their thikanas into hotels, and I always admired them for what they did. And I'm happy to see that that's happening here. And I think people are very interested. The kind of, coming back to your question about the kind of tourists or the kind of guests that we have. So obviously there's one that's local because there's Calcutta. And I love how beautifully they wear their dhotis and they wear their kurtas and beautiful saris, and they come for lunch on Sunday or they come and stay over with us. And many of them will tell me how কি আমাদেরও এইরকম একটা বাড়ি আছে আমাদের অমুক জায়গায় আমরা দেখতে পাচ্ছি না, which in English is that they have a home similar like this in probably another part of Bengal, but they've not been able to do anything with it because there are too many owners in, and that fragmented ownership, which I was just telling you, is a problem. And sometimes over a conversation like this, which I'm sure you'll be sharing, I would also like to say that if there's anybody who's got a beautiful stately home anywhere in Bengal and needs help, needs any advice on the restoration, please do get in touch. It's not about money or commercial transactions. It's actually trying to build a community. Bengal is an amazing place, and there's so much that we can do with it.
Let's say to that question, there are several people who even I come across, and especially with the expanse in the travel industry post COVID and the boom that we have seen, there are a lot of people who are now expanding into the heritage hospitality sector. What advice would you have for them if a new hotel or a new hotelier is coming to restore a property? From your experiences, what are the things that they should look out for, things that they should be aware of when they have to build something similar to yours?
There's a difference in the world that I started off on my journey in 2008, 2009, and 2025 is chalk and cheese. So the first thing is that the amount of information that we can get so easy access to. I would say look out for access. Access for information. It's a great business to get into. I think it's not the largest money spinner, but it's really very satisfying, and it's a great business to be in. So I would tell people to go ahead and go for it.
Okay. So I've noticed one thing from all my visits is the team that you have built over here, right? There is a certain kind of hospitality that they sort of project, and it just feels absolutely effortless and very, very personal, never transactional. How is it that you were able to train your team to become this good at hospitality, even though you were hiring them locally?
Essentially, going back to our earlier chat before we were getting to know each other, and I think one of the things you said, which I really liked, was you said that Indians make great hosts.
Yeah.
And I fully agree with you. It's very well said. And I think all whether you're from a village, whether you're a city slicker, Indians are the best hosts in the world. And if you just take this beautiful material that we have, all our kids, all our youngsters in the village, they're so good of doing. They do things straight from their heart, and we have great guests also. So that's they learn. It's a seesaw. The guests look after, teach them, because that's the first time I had Sydney Herald in 2012 came here to do a story. We were still constructing, and I had one guy here who was working as my cook and my darwan. I was out of town, and this lady came. Somebody from the Oberoi called, who I was friends with, said there's an Aussie journalist here, and can she come and see the place? And she came to see it, and then she wrote a story which I read a year and a half later. She says, I love the place, but what I must tell you is that when she was offered a glass of red wine, just as a guest, not because we were commercially, my guy turned around and put soda into the wine And but it was okay. If your attitude is good, it works. Of course, it's not acceptable now, but back then. So I'm just saying the right attitude. So in answer to your question, that where's the warmth coming from? The warmth is coming because it's there.
Innate.
It's and we've polished them up a little bit. So that's what.
Is there ever a guest that has left a lasting impression on you? Something that has made you feel that hosting was a calling for you in your life?
Hosting is a calling because I like to delight people. But the most I was, and I'm choosing my words, I was blessed. I was talking to you about the fact that I had grown up in with a lot of these zamindari, what we call the bana saabs from Rajasthan, and they're terrific guys. Most of my buddies from Mayo. I hosted the Indian Heritage Hotels Association, I think 4 or 5 years ago, and for the first time in my life, I met Bapji, His Highness Jodhpur, and several other amazingly stalwart hoteliers who have always been people that I looked at, including my friend Raghavendra Singh of Samod and several other people. It was fantastic to have them over. And I can't tell you how beautiful it was to see their reaction to Bengal. Not just about the Rajbari, but how much they liked Bengal, they liked Calcutta. It was wonderful to host them. So I would say that's something that's with me. I also, must share another story with you. I had the Duke and Duchess of York come and stay with us.
Really?
Yeah, and we hadn't yet opened. So I actually called a friend. And I said, I don't know what to do. We don't have a chef. So he called up his niece who used to work with the Taj, and she was in Chennai, and she flew down to to be the chef and the host for the Duke and Duchess of York. And not only does she come and do that, but she falls in love with the place and then stays back here for 5 or 7 years to become the resident director of the place. So that's how life is, right?
Yeah, that's outstanding.
Yeah.
I'd love to ask you a question about the culinary experiences at the Rajbari Bawali. Being from Calcutta, I've heard a lot about the Bengali food that is served over here and that it's absolutely delicious. Maybe you can walk us through a couple of signature dishes or the zamindari thali as to why is it and how is it that you are able to achieve such authentic Bengali flavor in such a remote part of Bengal.
Good to hear that people are enjoying our food. But I got to say that, we're talking about the thali, and the most important thing that we look at uh, whenever we look at food, and we were talking about is प्यार. खाना बनाओगे प्यार से बनाओगे तब तो मजा आएगा नहीं तो नहीं आएगा. And if your produce is not right, it's not going to be. So there are two things that we need. We thought of bringing chefs in. We thought who would plan. And then I said, let's be organic about what we're doing. Let's be real. This is Bengal. And we're in a village. We need to find the ladies from the village who've got good hands. We talked around, we found who were looking for, work, what they were looking for, who was good. And we went out and we found a couple of people who were actually commercially Bengali cooks. So we mixed a group of both. The team puts things together. All our producers absolutely fresh. It's either locally, or if we need to get into Cal for anything, we'll get to Cal for it. It's the food that they understand. It's what they eat every day. They can't go wrong with it. So our zamindari thali is a lot of food. It's really a lot of food, and I'm so happy that people have a good time with it, because I always say to my team that when someone comes to the zamindari to the Rajbari for a zamindari thali, they must feel like they've had a zamindari thali.
Yeah.
And they tuck in and they love it. And of course, Bengal, अरे खाना क्या समझ में, nobody can understand खाना the way Bengalis do, because they'll start it course by course. You'll have a palate cleanser. You'll start with you'll do your dals and your vegetarians, and then you do your fish, and then you do your prawn, and then you do chicken and mutton, and there's so much, but it goes by a flow. Whereas most other parts of India, when you sit down, you'll eat whatever comes up in front, but there's always a little course that goes in. So because Bengalis themselves, like the French, are so particular about their food, and they spend, I'm telling you, bongs when they're traveling, they get two things that they can spend money on. One is traveling, and the other is food. They are so shocking. Bengalis are so shocking. So we've kept our food simple, and then we got good at that. Then we brought in a really good tandoori, because that was also part of the. So you should come and try our tandoori food sometime.
I didn't even know you have
Oh, it's fantastic, and you know what? It's so good. I think it takes even the old ones in Calcutta that had the old North Indian things. But hold on, when you're talking about food, and I know you got me started on zamindari, but I told you that there was a connect between the mandals and the Chinese community in Achipur.
Yes.
So what we did, we have a dungeon here, if you please. And we took the dungeon, which I think did one of two things. I think people who didn't pay their taxes used to get thrown in there. And I have a theory that there was an opium den back there. Not kidding. And we've converted, which you must see, is we've converted that into a Chinese opium den. Not only is our Bengali thali is outstanding, our tandoori is fantastic, and now our Chinese is outstanding. I love food, so it's gotta come together, right?
I think food is such an important part of
Very important.
hospitality.
Yeah,
You just get that right, and everyone's in a good mood.
yeah, that's true. That's true.
I've seen that you've used so many elements in your decor that have come from your own personal, how do I say, style and personal aesthetic. Even the lamps, as you showed me in our tour before, or be it things that are hanging on the wall, they're not random artifacts. They are things that speak to you, to your
Good to
own
hear.
personality, and also add a lot of character to the story that is being told by the Rajbari. So I was wondering, how did you go about accumulating this sort of entire collection of things, and how did you choose what should be put in the Rajbari Bawali?
That's a really good question. You know why? It's because I am a kabadi wala. So the collector is basically a kabadi wala. And I've spent time going to homes that are being broken, or flea markets or places where I know. And then which I keep saying, that I've got great craftsmen. So I've got good carpenters who over the years understand what I want. So I'll find let's say for instance, I find anything like my current favorite is I found a Yashica flip pork camera. So I took that and I gave it to my carpenter, and I said, "Yeah, table lamp bana do." So he made a table lamp out of it, which you should see it sometimes. So I think one part of it is going and buying something. That's acquiring. And the other part is creating. So if you don't have the eye and you don't have a vision, you don't get anywhere. So the reason that you're finding things at the Rajbari are different and they don't seem like they've just been picked up and put up is because they're not. It's because we started with something, we improve it, we add to it, and then we use it. And my theory to everything in design is very simple: that it has to be authentic to your eye, because that's the only thing that you have. So that's what it is.
That's very well said. I've heard about how certain movies were shot in Rajbari. I'm not sure if it was before your time or if it was during the restoration process. What was your experience when these movies came to your property to shoot them?
The Rajbari itself has seen amazing directors, has seen some amazing thespians here.
What was your experience working with Bulbul as the set for their production?
So when Bulbul first, when the producers got in touch with us and said that they wanted to shoot here, I was so thrilled because I was already broke by then. So I said, "दो पैसे तो घर पे आएंगे." Then everybody started telling me that, "Oh my God, don't let a movie crew in because they're going to trash the place." I talked to the guys. They said, "Look, we're professionals. Take a deposit from us. If we do anything that's damaging, by all means." They stayed with us for a month. They were fantastic. I didn't have to take 1 rupee out of their deposit. Anushka's and her brother were running the uh, what was the company called? I'm trying to recall, but they were fantastic. And you know how that thing was born? The thing was born because about 2 years before that, guy who produced the movie Wednesday.
The Nasiruddin Shah's movie.
Yeah. Interestingly, this
Yeah.
friend of a friend calls me and he says this guy is from Bombay who's a producer or director wants to come in and he wants to relax in the afternoon and play bluff. I said, "Are you for real?" So 3 of these guys come and they sit here in the courtyard and they have Bengali food. We hadn't opened and they were playing bluff. And 4 or 5 years later, they thought of a project and they remembered this place and they came back here.
Wow, that's how the world
Yeah,
rotates.
that's how it is. That's how it is. The lady who wrote the song Queen,
Oh, the one with Kangana Ranaut.
London Thamakta, and this was her directorial debut.
Oh,
So
really?
she's the one who had come with them, found it. How can I forget her name? Huh? Anvita. Anvita is amazing if you meet her. She wears the most amazing saris,
Okay.
but she'll only wear them with kids and kickers. So
I think that's how you should, because
Yeah, so
modern day everyone does that.
so this was her first movie, and Anushka, when she came, she was amazing. My team loved her. Yeah, she was amazing with them. She stayed for 2 days. She said her plan was to come and stay for 2 days, and Telegraph knew that they were coming here. They kept on calling me saying, "Please let us know when they're coming." And we had decided that no matter what happens, we have to make sure that her privacy is not disturbed. We kept her under wraps, and guess what? She didn't stay for 2 days. She called her Guruji also, and she stayed for 5. Because she loved the place. She was chilled out. It was really good to have them. And after that, we've had a couple of movies, but because they were with us for 3 or 4 weeks, it was very special.
That's insane.
Yeah.
How do you balance privacy?
So, I think it's about most thing in life is about managing expectations. And when you're coming to a heritage property, your expectation has to be, it will be high on certain things. And it's going to be high on aesthetics.
Correct.
It's going to be high on care. It's going to be very, very high on romance. A very high expectation on the small touches. So I think if you start thinking of the positives that when you come into a stately home, or large or small, it doesn't matter. So if those things are taken care of, then the others don't matter.
I think it's very well said.
Yeah.
Because there are certain things that a heritage hotel does so well,
Yeah.
which a mass market can never do.
Yeah.
Which is extreme attention to guest personalization.
Yeah.
Right? And if you just master those, people just tend to adapt to whatever else that you're giving.
True. But having said that, I've got to say that my hotelier friends in the Taj, the Oberoi, the Marriott, they're also amazing hoteliers. The industry is just improving every minute.
Correct.
Outstanding.
Hospitality has grown severely, I feel, in the last 5 years. And how do you think it's going to evolve from?
Beautifully. It's going to keep surprising you. The industry is going to be outstanding. How you choose to do it, whether it's by stepping back and taking it easy, or by getting more cutting edge, that's your call. But both things are improvement. There's nobody's taking that call other than you. There's a client for every kind of thing. So I think if you look at hospitality now, the chefs, hats off. Amazing what they're doing. I think that's food. The food game is going to get superb. The interiors, outstanding. People are doing such amazing spaces. It's only going to get better and better.
And do you think in the next 5 years for yourself, when it comes to growth, improvement, um, what is it in your eyes for Rajbari? Is there a pressure of opening more Rajbaris? Are you looking to franchise this model? Or how are you looking to sort of evolve in the next 5 years?
I think that we've got our hands full with what we're doing currently, because I've got 2 or 3 projects that I'm looking at. About 20 minutes from here, I've got the River Lodge, which is a beautiful, beautiful 1 acre. Going to be maybe 12 or 15 rooms, um, right bang on the Hooghly or the Ganges,
Wow.
whichever way you want to call it by. And then we've got a very nice chai bungalow near Ghoom called Chota Hazri, which is right out the most amazing view of Kanchenjunga. 4 bedrooms, outstanding. I'm very happy with the stable that we have right now. I think the only way that I would look at another project, I'm missing out, but I have something coming up in Calcutta, which I'll talk to you about another time. The only thing at this stage in life, I would take on another project, because these are personal projects for me, right? I would if I found a home that was outstanding to look at. If architecturally it's going to call out to me, I would delve into it. Otherwise, I'm happy to steady with sailing the boat that I'm in. There can be no prettier place than Bengal. And I can tell you that the amount of music, because for me, there are 2 or 3 things that are very important in life. One of them is food, which we were talking about. The other thing that we were not talking about is music. Bengal has the most amazing musicians, and they're so versatile. They can do Bollywood, they can do classic, they can do Leonard Cohen, they can do. Where do you find that?
You don't find it.
It's outstanding. My conversation with people, my friends in Delhi and my friends in Bombay, and forget overseas, because overseas there's a romance. But when I talk to my friends about Calcutta and I talk about Bengal, I'm 62. My friends turn around and they say, "Oh man, Calcutta used to be swinging in the 60s." And I now turn around and tell them, "Man, it's swinging now."
Yeah.
The number of live bands that we have, the kind of things that we have happening here, it's outstanding. Come back to Calcutta. Come and enjoy yourselves. And anybody who's stayed here, anybody who's done a 3-year, 4-year corporate job here, you meet them 5 years later, they say, "Yaar, jo dost Kolkata mein bane the kahin nahi huna." Cal guys are so cool. They're never judging us. That's Cal, man. It's beautiful.
So the last part of today involves me asking you a rapid fire round, which means I will ask you a bunch of questions and you have the easy job of answering me only in one word.
Okay.
Let's go ahead with it then. What's always on the Rajbari breakfast menu, no matter what?
Luchi and aloo dum is outstanding.
Early check-ins or late checkouts? What's more stressful?
Actually, neither.
A local dish that every guest must try?
Dab Chingri is fantastic.
Hosting or being hosted? Which one's more fun for you?
I love hosting people.
A dream guest that you'd love to host?
People who have hosted me in the past, each one of them is a dream guest for me.
A room at the Rajbari that you secretly love the most?
Mango Tree Suite, which is room number 214,
A city that you go to for inspiration?
Thailand.
One design element in Rajbari that you're most proud of?
The cast iron.
A Bengali dish that your team has mastered?
This is Bengal. All their dishes are very well mastered. Everything is fantastic.
Thank you so much, Mr.
Not at
Rawla,
all.
for being on our show. I think you've given us some wonderful insights about your passion, your devotion to this project, and devotion to serving people of Bengal. Thank you so much. We'd love to go around and check out your property.
Love to have you around.
That's it for today's episode of Host Diaries. If you felt transported, even for a moment, we'd love for you to stay a little longer. Hit that like button if this story spoke to you. Subscribe to join us on more journeys across India, and tap the bell icon so that you're the first person to know when a new episode drops.